The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transmitted simultaneously to every communication device on Earth. No static, no interference, just crystal clear words that sent chills through the global population. Your species has been deemed unworthy of independent existence. The Dominion claims Earth. Surrender within 3 solar cycles, or face extinction. In the United Nations Emergency Council chamber, Secretary General Elena Rodriguez stood before the assembled world leaders, her expression grave but determined. The chamber, usually filled with diplomatic debates and political maneuvering, now held a different kind of tension. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. The Dominion's ultimatum leaves no room for negotiation, she declared, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Their transmission technology alone demonstrates capabilities far beyond our current understanding, but humanity has never bowed to threats, no matter how overwhelming they may seem. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to all but a handful of individuals, Dr. James Chen worked furiously at his quantum computing station. His team had been preparing for this possibility for years, though few had believed first contact would come as an ultimatum. The Sentinel program, a classified initiative combining the brightest minds from every nation, had been developing defensive technologies in secret since the first distant signals of advanced civilizations were detected decades ago. "They're scanning us," Dr. Chen announced to his team, eyes fixed on the streams of data flowing across his holographic displays. "The Dominion's probes are mapping every inch of our planet, but they're not seeing everything." He allowed himself a small smile. The quantum camouflage fields were working better than expected, keeping humanity's most advanced research facilities hidden from alien detection. Across the globe, military bases switched to silent running protocols. Submarine fleets disappeared into the ocean depths. Space stations went dark. But this wasn't a retreat, it was preparation. Humanity had learned from its own history that appearing weak could be an advantage when preparing for war. In Tokyo, quantum physicist Dr. Yuki Tanaka made a breakthrough that would change everything. Her team had been studying the Dominion's transmission signal, and they found something extraordinary. "The signal itself is the key," she explained to the Emergency Scientific Council. "They're using quantum entanglement for instant communication across light years. But there's a pattern in the noise, a weakness we can exploit." The world's governments, for the first time in history, moved with perfect unity. Resources were pooled, old rivalries set aside. Under the guise of panic and disarray, humanity prepared its response to the Dominion's threat. Space-based weapons platforms, disguised as communication satellites, moved into position. Underground manufacturing facilities accelerated production of experimental weapon systems. Admiral Sarah Hassan, commander of Earth's Unified Defense Force, stood in the Global Command Center, watching as reports flowed in from around the world. The Dominion had expected to find a fractured primitive species scrambling in fear. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. "They think they're dealing with a primitive species that will either surrender or fight conventionally," she addressed her staff. "They expect us to be predictable, to follow the pattern of other worlds they've conquered. That will be their first mistake." As the first of the 3 solar cycles drew to a close, humanity's response was taking shape. Dr. Chen's quantum networks were online. Dr. Tanaka's signal analysis had revealed critical vulnerabilities in Dominion technology, and Admiral Hassan's forces were ready to execute a strategy unlike anything the Dominion had faced before. The message that would be sent back to the Dominion was brief, but it carried the weight of humanity's determination. "Earth declines your offer. Come and take it." In orbit, the first Dominion scouts would soon arrive to find what appeared to be a panicked, disorganized planet preparing for a hopeless last stand. They wouldn't realize until it was too late that every element of chaos they detected was carefully choreographed, every sign of weakness deliberately crafted. Humanity wasn't preparing to survive the Dominion's attack. They were preparing to teach the galaxy a lesson about underestimating Earth. Dr. Chen's quantum sensors detected the Dominion scout ships before they crossed Jupiter's orbit. From his underground command center, he watched as the alien vessels moved with impossible precision, their energy signatures unlike anything humanity had previously observed. But he wasn't worried. In fact, he was smiling. "They're scanning exactly where we want them to scan," he reported to Admiral Hassan. The holographic display showed dozens of Dominion vessels spreading throughout the solar system, each one dutifully recording data about Earth's apparent military capabilities. Every scan they performed fed directly into a trap decades in the making. Project Phoenix wasn't just a defensive system. It was a comprehensive plan to turn the Dominion's own technological superiority against them. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Tanaka's team had constructed a network of quantum resonators designed to interact with the Dominion's scanning technology. Every probe they sent revealed more about their own system's vulnerabilities. Their quantum communication network is based on a completely different paradigm than we expected, Dr. Tanaka had explained during the global defense briefing. They're not just using entanglement for communication. They're using it for their entire command and control structure. One central consciousness directing millions of autonomous units. She paused, letting the implications sink in, and we now know how to disrupt it. In orbital shipyards hidden behind quantum camouflage fields, humanity's real fleet took shape. These weren't the crude rockets and satellites the Dominion scouts were detecting. The vessels under construction incorporated technology that Earth's finest minds had reverse-engineered from decades of studying distant alien signals. Admiral Hassan stood in the Lunar Command Center, watching as construction crews completed the final adjustments on the quantum disruption grid. The massive installation, hidden on the dark side of the moon, would be humanity's ace in the hole. "How many ships are they bringing?" she asked her tactical officer. "Latest estimates suggest a fleet of over 10,000 vessels," came the response. "They're gathering just beyond Saturn's orbit, but they still haven't detected our real defensive capabilities." The admiral nodded. The Dominion's overconfidence would be their undoing. They saw what they expected to see. A primitive civilization with basic space capabilities, scrambling to mount a futile defense. The quantum camouflage fields were showing them exactly what they wanted to believe. In research facilities around the globe, the final pieces of Project Phoenix were falling into place. Dr. Chen's quantum computers had cracked the underlying mathematics of Dominion technology. Dr. Tanaka's team had perfected their disruption techniques, and in secret bases on every continent, a new generation of weapons waited for deployment. "They think they're dealing with a species that just achieved spaceflight," Dr. Chen remarked to his team as they finalized the targeting algorithms. "They have no idea that we've been preparing for this moment since we first detected their signals 50 years ago. Every advancement they made, every world they conquered, we were watching, learning, and preparing." The Dominion's main fleet would arrive in less than 24 hours. Their scouts had reported back exactly what humanity wanted them to see. A planet protected by primitive nuclear weapons and chemical rockets, with rudimentary energy shields that would crumble under any serious assault. What they couldn't see were the quantum-linked defense platforms hidden throughout the asteroid belt. They hadn't detected the consciousness disruption fields waiting to tear apart their hive-mind command structure. And they had no idea that every scan they performed had given humanity more information about how to defeat them. In the final hours before the Dominion fleet's arrival, Admiral Hassan addressed the combined military forces of Earth. "For 50 years, we've maintained the illusion of division and technological stagnation. We let them think we were primitive, predictable, and weak. Tomorrow, they learn the truth. Tomorrow, we show them why you should never underestimate human ingenuity." As the massive Dominion fleet approached Earth, their quantum communications hummed with confidence. Their scans showed a planet ripe for conquest, defending itself with technology centuries behind their own. They didn't realize they were flying into the most elaborate trap ever constructed, or that humanity had spent half a century preparing specifically for this moment. Project Phoenix was about to rise from the ashes of the Dominion's expectations, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Dominion fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, 10,000 ships strong, their quantum-linked consciousness operating with singular purpose. Their massive vessels cast long shadows across Earth's orbit, a display of overwhelming force meant to crush any remaining hope of resistance. In the Lunar Command Center, Admiral Hassan watched the enemy fleet's approach with steady eyes. "They're positioning themselves exactly where we predicted," she noted. The Dominion ships were spreading out to surround Earth in a standard conquest formation, one they'd used successfully on countless other worlds. Dr. Chen's quantum computers tracked every movement, every communication signal, every energy signature. "Their hive mind is fully synchronized," he reported. "They have no idea they're broadcasting their command protocols directly into our analysis systems." The Dominion's first transmission was predictably arrogant. "Your time has expired. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species' survival as servants of the Dominion. Resist and face extinction." Admiral Hassan's response was brief. "We choose neither." The battle began with a massive energy surge from the Dominion fleet, tens of thousands of weapons powering up simultaneously. But before they could fire, Dr. Tanaka activated the quantum disruption grid. The effect was instantaneous and devastating. The unified consciousness controlling the Dominion fleet suddenly fragmented. Ships that had moved in perfect harmony began to drift out of formation as their quantum-linked command structure dissolved into chaos. For the first time in their history of conquests, the Dominion experienced something they had never prepared for: individual thought. "Phase 1 successful," Dr. Tanaka announced, her voice tight with concentration. "Their hive mind is severed, moving to Phase 2. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet revealed itself. The quantum camouflage fields dropped, showing the true extent of Earth's military power. Sleek vessels, powered by technology the Dominion thought impossible for humans to possess, emerged from their hiding places throughout the asteroid belt and behind Mars' moons. The Dominion ships, their crews struggling to operate without their collective consciousness, attempted to regroup. But humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment. Every countermove had been anticipated, every defensive strategy analyzed and prepared for. "Launch the quantum inversors," Admiral Hassan ordered. Throughout the fleet, human ships activated weapons that the Dominion had never encountered, devices that turned their own energy shields against them. The more power they pumped into their defenses, the more destructive the feedback became. Dr. Chen watched as his targeting algorithms predicted and countered every attempt by the Dominion to adapt. "They're trying to reestablish their quantum network," he reported. "But every attempt just gives us more access to their systems. They built their entire civilization around shared consciousness. They never developed safeguards against what we're doing." The space around Earth lit up with energy discharges as Dominion ships began to fail. Some exploded as their power cores overloaded, while others drifted powerless, their crews cut off from the hive mind that had controlled their every action since birth. But the Dominion wasn't defeated yet. A group of their largest dreadnoughts, operating on backup systems, managed to launch a desperate counterattack. They targeted Earth's major cities with planet-killer weapons, expecting to find them defenseless. Instead, their energy beams hit quantum shields unlike anything they had encountered before. The shields didn't just absorb the attacks, they redirected them, turning the Dominion's own weapons against their fleet. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds found themselves being torn apart by their own energy weapons. "They're retreating," Admiral Hassan announced, watching as the surviving Dominion ships attempted to flee. "But they won't get far. The quantum disruption field extends throughout the solar system now. None of their faster-than-light drives will function until we allow it." In the chaos of battle, human ships moved with precision and purpose, disabling rather than destroying when possible. Each captured Dominion vessel would provide more intelligence, more technology to analyze, more understanding of the enemy they faced. Dr. Tanaka's voice carried a note of satisfaction as she reported, We're receiving surrender signals from multiple ships. Their crews are experiencing individual consciousness for the first time. Many of them are choosing to defect rather than return to the hive mind. The battle had lasted less than 6 hours. The mighty Dominion fleet, which had expected an easy conquest, was in ruins, but Admiral Hassan knew this was only the beginning. They'll be back, she warned. And next time, they'll be ready for what we showed them today. Dr. Chen nodded in agreement, but they still don't know everything we can do. Project Phoenix has only begun to rise. 2 weeks after Earth's shocking victory, the captured Dominion ships yielded secrets that changed everything. In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Tanaka studied the data streams from the alien vessel's quantum cores, her eyes widening as she understood the full implications of what they'd discovered. Their entire empire is built on stolen technology, she announced to the Emergency Council. The Dominion didn't develop their advanced systems. They took them from other civilizations they conquered. They've never faced a species that could actually innovate and improve upon their technology. Admiral Hassan leaned forward, her tactical mind already processing the possibilities. That's why they couldn't adapt during the battle. They only know how to use their technology, not understand it. Dr. Chen's quantum computers had already begun mapping the Dominion's empire using data from the captured ships. Their territory spanned thousands of light years, but their grip on it was maintained through fear and technological superiority, both of which Earth had just shattered. We've detected resistance movements on 17 conquered worlds, he reported. They're watching what happened here. The myth of Dominion invincibility is cracking. The Council made its decision unanimously. Earth would not wait for the Dominion to regroup and return. Humanity would take the fight to them. Operation Lightbringer launched 3 days later. Earth's fleet, now augmented with reversed-engineered Dominion technology, split into 5 battle groups. Their mission wasn't just to attack the Dominion. It was to liberate the worlds they'd enslaved. Admiral Hassan commanded the lead fleet from her flagship, the Phoenix Dawn. The vessel represented humanity's greatest achievement, a perfect fusion of Earth innovation and alien technology. Its quantum drives were twice as efficient as the Dominion's best ships, and its artificial intelligence systems could adapt to enemy tactics in real time. The first target was the Centauri Gateway, a massive space station the Dominion used to control travel between sectors of their empire. The station's defenders never saw the attack coming. Human ships emerged from quantum space using protocols the Dominion didn't even know existed. Their quantum network is adapting, Dr. Chen reported from Earth Command. They're trying to develop countermeasures against our disruption technology, but every attempt just gives us more data to work with. The liberation of the Centauri Gateway took less than an hour. The station's crew, cut off from the hive mind, chose surrender over destruction. Many of them, experiencing individual thought for the first time, provided crucial intelligence about Dominion weaknesses. As news of the Gateway's fall spread through quantum space, the effect was immediate. Resistance movements on conquered worlds, armed with Earth technology smuggled through quantum corridors, began rising up against their oppressors. The Dominion's empire, built on fear and control, began to fracture. Dr. Tanaka's team made another breakthrough, developing a way to permanently free Dominion soldiers from the hive mind while preserving their individual consciousness. They're not just drones, she explained. They're people who never had a chance to be individuals. We're not just fighting the Dominion, we're liberating their own forces. The Phoenix Dawn led the charge into Dominion space, but they weren't just conquering. They were transforming. Every liberated world received Earth's quantum protection technology. Every freed Dominion soldier became a potential ally. The empire that had tried to subjugate humanity was being dismantled by the very innovations they had dismissed as primitive. They're gathering their remaining forces for a final stand, Admiral Hassan informed the Council. But they still don't understand what they're facing. They think this is about military power. They don't realize it's about something they've never understood: human creativity. Earth's fleets moved deeper into Dominion space, spreading not just advanced technology, but something the Empire had never encountered before: the idea that species could advance through cooperation rather than conquest. The quantum network that had once controlled the Dominion subjects was being repurposed into a communication system for free worlds. Dr. Chen's latest analysis showed the broader impact of Earth's campaign. Other advanced civilizations are watching what we're doing. Species that have hidden from the Dominion for centuries are reaching out to us. We're not just winning a war, we're reshaping the galaxy's power structure. As the Phoenix Dawn approached the Dominion's home system, Admiral Hassan prepared her fleet for what would be their greatest challenge. The Dominion's ruling council had gathered their remaining forces for one final battle. But this time, they weren't just facing Earth's military might. They were facing the combined forces of every world they had tried to conquer and control. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their ability to turn enemies into allies, to transform conquest into cooperation, and to prove that true strength comes not from control, but from freedom. The Dominion's home system was unlike anything humanity had encountered before. Massive orbital structures surrounded their central planet, each one a testament to technologies stolen from conquered civilizations. But as the combined fleet of Earth and liberated worlds emerged from quantum space, something unexpected happened. "We're detecting quantum transmissions," Dr. Chen reported, his voice tense with surprise. "But they're not combat signals. They're asking for dialogue." Admiral Hassan stood on the Phoenix Dawn's bridge, watching as the tactical display showed thousands of Dominion ships holding position. The empire that had demanded Earth's surrender just months ago was now requesting peace talks. But this wasn't the same Dominion they had first encountered. "The hive mind is fragmenting on its own," Dr. Tanaka announced, studying the quantum readings. "Their entire civilization is experiencing an awakening. The more they fight against it, the more individuals break free." The truth, when it finally emerged, was more extraordinary than anyone had imagined. The Dominion's ruling council wasn't just a government, it was the last remnant of the original species that had created the hive mind. They had maintained control for millennia by preventing individual consciousness from emerging in their subjugated populations. But humanity's quantum disruption technology had done more than just break their military control. It had shown billions of beings across the galaxy that individual thought was possible. The very concept of free will, something humans took for granted, was spreading through the Dominion's empire like a liberation virus. "We're receiving a transmission from their central council," Admiral Hassan announced. "They're requesting my presence for direct negotiations. No quantum links, no hive mind connections, just person to person." The meeting took place on a neutral station in orbit around the Dominion's homeworld. Admiral Hassan, accompanied by Dr. Tanaka and Dr. Chen, faced the Dominion's ruling council, beings who had not engaged in individual conversation for thousands of years. "You have destroyed us," the council leader stated, but there was no anger in the words. "Not through military might, but by introducing something we never thought possible: choice." Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, her understanding of their quantum technology now complete. "Your empire wasn't built to enslave," she explained. "Your ancestors created the hive mind to save your species from extinction. But somewhere along the way, unity became control, and sharing became domination." The truth resonated through quantum space. The Dominion had begun as a desperate attempt to preserve a dying civilization. The hive mind had saved them, but the price had been the loss of individual consciousness. Each conquest, each assimilation, had been driven by a desperate fear of returning to that original solitude. "We offer you something your empire has never considered," Admiral Hassan declared: "a partnership of free worlds. Unity through cooperation, not control. Strength through diversity, not dominance." Dr. Chen activated a quantum projection, showing how Earth's technology could transform the hive mind into a true network of shared knowledge, one that enhanced individual consciousness rather than suppressing it. Your people don't have to choose between connection and freedom, he explained. They can have both. The impact was immediate and profound. Across the Dominion's territories, beings who had never known individual existence began to awaken. But instead of the chaos the Council had always feared, they discovered something remarkable. Their society didn't collapse. It evolved. The Phoenix Dawn's mission had succeeded, but not through the victory anyone had expected. Humanity hadn't just defeated an empire. They had transformed it. The quantum network that had once enslaved now connected free worlds and free minds across the galaxy. "We were wrong about your species," the Council leader admitted as the peace accords were signed. "We saw your individuality as weakness, your diversity as chaos. We never understood that these were the sources of your true strength." Admiral Hassan stood on the Phoenix Dawn's observation deck, watching as ships from 100 liberated worlds moved through quantum space. Earth's victory hadn't just changed the galaxy's power structure. It had revolutionized how civilizations could interact. Dr. Tanaka's final breakthrough provided the key to the galaxy's future, a way to maintain the benefits of shared consciousness while preserving individual free will. The hive mind that had once controlled now became a gateway for cooperation between species. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't defeating the Dominion, Dr. Chen reflected as the fleet prepared to return to Earth. It was showing the galaxy that true strength comes from embracing what makes us different while celebrating what brings us together. The war that had begun with an ultimatum ended with a transformation. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity had proven that their greatest power wasn't in their weapons or technology. It was in their ability to turn the impossible into reality, to find hope in despair, and to show even their enemies a better way forward. Earth's gates, once closed in defiance, now stood open in welcome, a beacon for a new age of galactic cooperation. The Dominion hadn't just been defeated, it had been reborn, and with it, the very nature of civilization itself had evolved into something greater than anyone had imagined possible.